Good morning. Yes, I'm Barbara Antonopolos. I live in Atlanta. And I have read Dr. Jacobs' report that was filed earlier this month. And it reads like a litany of construction nightmares. I'm going to read a few lines. I would characterize the performance of the consortium to date in certain key safety-related activities that are on the critical path as unsatisfactory. Rebar installation did not match the rebar design shown in the DCD. It is disconcerting that the rebar deficiency was found by an NRC inspector. That means no one on site found that. The consortium's inability to design, fabricate, and assemble modules to meet the project schedule is another example of unsatisfactory performance. Critical submodules are far behind schedule due to numerous design, fabrication, and quality assurance problems. SMS finds it impossible to physically construct the submodule as designed sometimes. Required quality assurance paperwork was of such poor quality that the completed submodules could not be shipped. He mentions failure to use the correct type of weld on certain modules, and says that SMS clearly lacked experience in the nuclear power industry and was not prepared for the rigor and attention to detail required to successfully manufacture nuclear components. Unsatisfactory and timely development of CFC packages. Consistently failed to meet the schedule. Failure to ensure that the plant design conforms to the licensing basis, etc. This alarms me. We are not talking about building faulty flashlights. We are talking about building complicated contraptions which at their best are inherently dangerous, but when they are getting built like this and subsequently malfunction, they will wreak havoc for generations, serving up death and destruction in a variety of ways. Birth defects and genetic mutations, cancer, interruption of the food supply, radioactive contamination of air, water, and soil, etc. Within this framework, the idea of safety is a myth. And when Georgia Power has made incompetent decision after incompetent decision, the first being to undertake the insanity of building more of these things, the design for which has obviously never been tested, and then to hire incompetent contractors to build them, having Georgia Power repeatedly assure us that of their commitment to safety and quality is a joke. They can't do it. They, along with almost everyone else on this project, are in way over their heads. Having read Dr. Jacobs' report, I'm wondering what is getting missed, but we will never know until it's too late. So as they limp along trying to patch things up as more and more incompetence surfaces, they ramp up their talk about quality control to make us believe they're on top of their game, but the cost rises by the billions as that goes on. Gigantic sums of money are thrown around like they don't matter to those of us who are paying, which is absurd and offensive. I'm going to quote an AP article that came out last week. This is the Executive Vice President of Nuclear Development at Southern Company saying, "We are managing it so we keep the costs the best we can. But building it right is priority one. The absolute capital number here is not what's important. What's important is the overall project." What? He's essentially saying he has no idea how far into the future this is going to go or how much it will cost. And he implies that we really shouldn't be worrying about the cost, that what we need to really worry about is getting it right. But there is no getting it right. There is no getting this right when the starting point was so far wrong. And you'd never hear a corporate executive say that if the company was on the hook for the money. Southern Company can afford to be irresponsible because ratepayers will be footing the bill while the cost goes higher, and as it goes higher, the more money Southern Company makes. I'm almost finished. We never should have had to deal with this in the first place, when the prudent decision was to not even entertain the idea. But now is certainly the time for you all to do your part to see that Vogtle 3 and 4 get back on the canceled reactor list, and that begins with you ceasing to rubber stamp the tossing of more and more of my money down the black hole of incompetence.